Welcome to the Double J podcast presented by Lake Central Media. Our first podcast of the new year 2019. It's been about a month since we last done our podcast, and wow, a lot of things have changed. We were talking about the college football playoffs. There are about 2 weeks still left in the NFL, and now we are into a time where college football is now done. The MLB news are heating up. The NBA is getting closer to the All-Star weekend, and the playoffs are ending for the NFL. And since we've been gone for, I think it's roughly a month. Today's the 15th, so 3 days would be exactly a month. So about a month. So we're gonna do a month takeaway. So we've had a month to think about something that we can take away, and Giovanni is gonna start that off like always.
I just want to say, I've kind of missed being here. I've kind of been itching to get back, give some of my thoughts. I'll definitely be doing that throughout the show, but my biggest monthly takeaway is definitely this. I don't think that defense necessarily can win championships in the NFL anymore. I know it's a very popular saying to say, but we've seen it. The top 4 scoring offenses this year, they're all in the AFC Championship and the AFC Championship. The Saints, we know them. Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. We know how good they are, the Rams, Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson now, and Jared Goff. We'll talk about that later. In the AFC, Patrick Mahomes, we know how incredible he is and how he's the MVP. Tom Brady, they've had their struggle.
I'd say Sony Michel instead of Tom Brady after the last game. 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards. I'd give him that one.
And then let's look at teams that missed the playoffs. The Steelers. Offense.
It's like Jersey Shore for them right now.
Yeah, That's crazy. We probably won't get to that, but that's insane. We are going to talk about Antonio Brown later on. Jack, what was your biggest takeaway? I can't wait to hear this.
Jeffrey does not have the best hands in the league, and I had nothing until that happened. Alshon Jeffrey said, the week of the Bears game, I have the best hands in the NFL. I'm too good. Well, if you guys missed that game against the Eagles and Saints, he kind of cost his team a chance to go in the conference championship, because if he caught that, he'd have been about the Saints 20 with the good time left, and right through his hands. Nothing hard about that catch. Right through his hands and let his team down.
And the Eagles were in the position. The score ended Saints 20, Eagles 14. We'll go more in depth on this game later, but I feel like Nick Foles would have pulled it off.
I feel like they would have scored on that play. And as we're talking about the playoffs, we'll start off with the divisional recap. First game, it was the biggest blowout of the playoffs, of the whole playoffs and the divisional round. Chiefs and the Colts. Chiefs, we all know their bad history of playoffs, especially last year when they were brutalizing the Titans, I guess would be correct words, and they blew that. Here come the Colts. A lot of things were being talked about them, but the Chiefs really just shut up everyone about the Colts because they handled their business, Giovanni.
And as a fan, Jack has had some moments.
That was ugly.
This year.
That was ugly.
Jack has had moments this year with the Bears. I think I deserve at least just a moment about this team this year. I have no shame in being a fan after this week. I would have liked to see them play a little bit better. I mean, the Colts had so many chances to get back in this game. The block punt. After that, Patrick Mahomes drives down the field.
Field goal, 23-yard field goal, going on a halftime, off the post.
Adam Vinatieri, certainly. If this is it for him,
it's done.
Then, it's unfortunate, but I think Vinny has one more year left of him. It's interesting, though, Vinatieri is not under contract next year, so they would have to re-sign him. But overall, Luck probably had his worst game of the year outside of that Jaguars game. But at the end of the day, I don't know how many times we could say it, this team started 1-5. They had basically no hope. Even at the beginning of the year, they were ranked 32. On the USA Today. I think it was by USA Today. That might be wrong, but they were ranked pretty low by most people. And to see them in the playoffs, that shocked a lot of people. And to win in the wild card round, listen, people like Jack are going to say who they played.
Yeah.
They didn't play any good teams, but
they didn't.
But you still have to win all those games. And even at 1-5, Frank Reich and Chris Ballard deserve a lot of credit. Andrew Luck, comeback player of the year. There's no arguing it at this point. And this team has 9 draft picks next year. I think that the future of this team is brighter than ever. Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson, first two rookies in one class to be all pro since It's some two people on the Bears from like the 1960s.
Richard Dent and I think Singletary or something like that.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna say this, Javon. You just finish.
And listen, at the end of the day, Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson, these two are going to be studs for years to come, especially Darius Leonard. Quentin Nelson, really, I've never seen a rookie offensive lineman really change.
What happens when you go to a great college and they mold you into that?
I've never seen a rookie offensive lineman have such an impact on a team. This team gave up the most sacks in the NFL, and they went from last to first. That is completely insane. And to just end it off, I'm very excited for the future of this team. I would have liked to see maybe a more competitive game, and Andrew Luck, I'll just say he was awful. But that shouldn't take away for the year that this team had. And they lost to a better team. The Chiefs were a better team. I thought the Colts had a chance of winning this game, but even I said there's no way that the Colts are going to win this game if Andrew Luck does not play well. And that's what happened.
I'm going to say this. I saw this beating from the start. Colts don't play anyone, and I'm going to say that straight out. The quarterbacks they have faced, Derek Anderson, Blake Bortles, Cody Kessler, Blaine Gabbert. I'm not even counting Deshaun Watson. I think he's overhyped, and I'm serious about that. Who else have they faced? Andy Dalton. Yeah, did they face Andy Dalton?
Andy Dalton beat him week 1.
Yeah, Andy. Oh, Jesus. They had this coming. They were riding hot on an easy schedule, and I'm going to say that they played, when they were hot, they played teams like the Jaguars, I think, twice, and they lost one of them. They played the Giants, the Titans, I think, as well, Bills, Raiders. I mean, these teams weren't even competitive, and they actually faced a team with a good quarterback, and their defense couldn't handle it. I mean, I tried to warn Giovanni that they haven't played a real competition, and no one is like the Chiefs if you're going by offense because, I mean, if they had Kareem Hunt, I feel like it would have been even worse. But Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins had himself a game. What's his name? Damian Williams?
Damian Williams.
I mean, these guys are all good, and, when you face a team like that, it's going to be hard for any defense, but to see the Colts like that, I wasn't shocked because everyone slept on this Chiefs team just because of their postseason pass. But
it's a different team.
Times are changed. Look at who's your quarterback. I'm going to say this, Mahomes. I've never really had a chance to watch him. I guess I did not watch the Monday night game against Seattle or that Monday night game against Rams. I didn't watch those games. You
missed a great game in that Rams game.
I was really impressed with him because there's more than watching than just watching the highlights. I was impressed with Mahomes of his passing. I got to admit, pretty cold. And for him just to sling the ball to Hill, it was hard to catch the ball there, it looked like. So for, the Chiefs to win that game, I think right now there's only 2 teams left in the AFC, but I feel like they're dangerous. Then we'll go to the Rams and Cowboys. Rams really, after last season's regular season success, lost their first game. First game they lost in the playoffs. Here come the Cowboys. A lot of people said they upset the Seahawks late in that game. Here they come in L.A. It was more of a Dallas Cowboys home game, if we're being honest right now.
If I had to guess, it was like 60% Cowboys fans, 40% Rams fans.
And the talk was, how are the Rams going to stop Zeke Elliott? The Rams have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Well, you thought wrong. It was the other way. C.J. Anderson outran Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott.
I just want to say this. Jack, look at how much impact John Gruden's decisions have had in the league. He gave the Bears Khalil Mack.
That's right.
He gave away C.J. Anderson. Now, maybe that one's a little bit more...
That's not as
bad. He gave Amari Cooper to the Cowboys. Look where they're at now. I don't think that team turns around without Amari Cooper.
Oh, no. Dak Prescott is living off of other people.
He basically gave the Chiefs 2 wins.
Yeah.
And John Gruden has had such an impact in the league. Getting back to this game... I thought the pressure in this game was all on the Rams. And let me tell you why. Sean McVay, if they lost this game and they were clearly outplayed, again, because in the Atlanta game last year, if you don't recall,
they were outplayed.
They were just outplayed. If they were outplayed again,
they were outplayed.
The narrative behind Sean McVay was going to be this. Sean McVay is a good coach, but his teams just can't do it in the big moment. They clearly shut some people up, and really... You might see the score was close, but
it really wasn't.
For really most of the game, the Rams dominated them. And as for the Cowboys, I think
we'll talk about it later, but I think it's time for a change. And, if you're feeling good, I hope you're feeling like Stephen A. Smith after yesterday. I mean, he had the time of his life. So we go through the Patriots and Chargers, which was 35 to 7 at one point. It ended 41-28, but geez, everyone said the Patriots are lacking, they're slacking after that Miami Miracle, the close game. They had a little close game with the Jets. Here come the Chargers going to Baltimore and winning. Chargers, a lot of people argued that they should have won the division over the Chiefs. Phillip Rivers has never beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
And still hasn't.
Actually, none of those quarterbacks in the AFC in the divisional round beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Phillip Rivers, I believe, is 0-8 now. Andrew Luck is 0-6.
I just don't know.
Patrick Mahomes is 0-1.
I just don't understand why Tom Brady, and it wasn't even the Tom Brady game. It was the Sony Michel game. I did not see this coming at all. I thought the Chargers were going to win this game, if I'm being honest with you.
It doesn't shock me how good New England was in the first half because New England, I don't know why.
They're just playoff built.
After a bye week, keep in mind, they've never gone to the Super Bowl without a first-round bye. That's big, getting a first-round bye. It's proven to be that in these playoffs. The Saints, Patriots, Rams, and Chiefs were all had the first-round bye, and now they're all meeting in the conference championships. But to me, New England, they just play so well off a bye week. I don't even think it's that the Patriots have extra time to prepare for other teams. I think it's that the Patriots, what they do so well is they scout things that they haven't been doing well. They get time to get healthy. Gronk is not what he used to be. Tom Brady can't do what he used to do, but they still find ways to win games. And to be honest, the only thing that shocked me was how flat the Chargers looked.
I was shocked with that defense. Bosa, Derwin James.
We said this was the most complete team in the league.
I got to admit, Derwin James really impressed the crap out of me. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I was shocked. Now we're going to go to the last game. It was the Saints and Eagles. We dipped in this a little bit, but man, Nick Foles in that first half looked like MVP Nick. In that second half, he took a little dip down, but Saints were down 14-0, came back and won 20-14. What a game this was for. I got to give Nick Foles more credit. I got to give him credit, but you look at this game, and the Saints really showed that they're the better team. Obviously, I mean, yeah, we went back to the Alshon catch. If he caught that, they probably would have scored. That happened during the Bears. Alshon had that huge third down catch, and they scored. Same thing here, but this time went right through his hand, and Lattimore picked him off for the second pick of the game. But if I'm the Rams, who are you, like, I think I'd rather play the Saints, not the Saints, the Eagles. The Saints did not look that impressive last
But to
week.
me, if the Rams lose to the Saints, there's not much. I mean, we're just going to say this. The Saints are clearly the best team in the NFC. If they lose to the Eagles, for one, Nick Foles
deserves a max.
If
he would have won that game,
that would have been very interesting. And this is how I envision this game going. If the Eagles had a chance of winning, I thought that the Saints were clearly the better team and deserved to win.
Yeah.
The way I envision this game going is exactly how it went, except Alshon Jeffrey's drop. I envision this game starting. The Eagles were going to come out absolutely dominant. The Saints were maybe going to be a little bit flat off their bye week, and I just imagine the Eagles coming out to an early lead and I thought maybe the Saints would come back and that Nick Foles, if you give him the ball, just like he did against the Bears, sorry about that, Jack.
That's okay.
He's going to make plays and he's going to win the game, and that's what the Saints didn't want to happen. And he did make those plays. He didn't win the game because Alshon Jeffrey does not have the best hands in the NFL.
Nick Foles is a great quarterback, but he just gets lucky. That's the thing I think about him. He gets lucky. Last year, I don't know what happened. The Bears game, he's lucky. And then he almost got lucky here. But then Alshon just dropped it. But the Eagles, they've probably got the most interesting offseason out of every team this year, in my mind.
It's going to be interesting. In my opinion, they're going to stick to Carson Wentz. I don't think that...
We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're going to go to the NFC and AFC championship games. The first game, I am pretty sure, is the Saints and Rams in New Orleans. These teams faced off in a very high-scoring matchup. Michael Thomas really made Marcus Peters look bad. And if you don't remember, Sean Payton called out Marcus Peters for that performance. And Peters was really mad after that. He said, after the game, let's get some gumbo. So this game is going to be interesting. High-scoring last game. Same spot, New Orleans, Giovanni. I mean, this could go either way in my mind.
Yes, it can, and I'll pick a winner in a bit. But I think in terms of – let me just say this real quick. I think the Super Bowl matchup this year, it's going to be interesting no matter what happens. Last year, remember there was a chance the Jags and Eagles were going to play in the Super Bowl? I mean – and
then the NFL was rigged.
Anyway, moving on from that nonsense.
That's not nonsense.
We can debate that another time. Anyways, going on, I think there's a potential for some great matchups. If the Saints and Patriots win, Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. If the Rams and Patriots win, Sean McVay versus Bill Belichick. It's the young coaching hotshot versus arguably the greatest coach ever. And then Chiefs and Rams, it's a rematch of maybe one of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
You know, I'm going to be honest. I'm taking the Rams. Saints are missing Sheldon Rankins towards ACL, their best defensive tackle.
Very unfortunate.
And after what I saw from C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley, you don't know who's going to run the ball. Like, it's going to be so hard to scheme against that. I just feel like the Rams are going to win. And then for the Patriots and Chiefs, I got to go with the Chiefs. I think their defense at home was they're ranked 31st, and they looked like a top 5 defense the other day. So I'm going to go Rams and Chiefs. You know, it was a good game, but this time it's in a different location. I think Mahomes wants revenge. We've seen him choke in those big games, so I'm kind of curious to see what's going on.
And my picks, I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints have been the best team in the NFC all year. Everyone kind of bailed on them after they lost to the Bucs week 1.
If the Saints allow less than 100 rushing yards, they win.
Yes, and their run defense is
damaged now. It's damaged.
Yes, but it was still all right.
You still got Cameron Jordan.
So. And then their secondary has gotten a lot better.
Lattimore, Eli Apple.
The Eagles, it took them almost. They only scored the first half. They didn't do anything else for the rest of the game.
The Eagles took them to their limit.
They did pretty solid, and I'm going to pick the Saints. I can't see the Rams winning this game, to be honest. I don't really like their front seven very much outside of Aaron Donald. I don't think their linebackers are anything special. And I just see Drew Brees lighting up this maybe not lighting up this defense, but I see him doing pretty well. And then Chiefs Patriots. I don't want to. I don't like picking against the Patriots because it doesn't really go well for me. Last week,
it's at Arrowhead, and they sent a national weather advisory. Kickoff will be 10 or below 0.
And that's my thing.
That's the highest. 10 degrees is the highest degree.
Yes, that is very true. But I can't not pick the Chiefs here. To me, New England, this is one of the least talented New England teams I've seen in a long time. Even after that performance against the Chargers, there's still holes.
I think it just comes who runs the ball more.
Exactly. But I will say this. If they give the ball to Tom Brady in the final minutes, then there's no one else I want.
I'm going with the bold prediction. Tom Brady gets hurt. I'm going to go bold here. They sacked Luck 4 times. Is that the most he got sacked in the game?
They did.
I'm interested. Now, Luck is a lot more versatile than Tom Brady. I'm interested to see how Tom Brady's going to do. I think he's going to get hurt. And we know you all heard yesterday, Heisman winner and Oakland A's first-round pick, Kyler Murray, has declared the NFL draft. He had yesterday, his last day, he tweeted about 250 or 240. Said, I'm declaring for the NFL draft. And a lot of people are mad about this and happy. But guys who've done this, Deion Sanders was not pleased by it at all. You know, I want to give my take. I'm excited to see Murray. I think he's going to be the first quarterback. I think he's a top 10 pick. I think the Giants could get him. The Jaguars could get him. But if we're going on a health concern here, I want to go to Bo Jackson, arguably the greatest dual sport player ever. What do you think? What causes injury? Baseball or football?
Well, I just want to say this.
Wait, just answer it. What causes injury? Football or baseball?
Football.
Yes. When you're playing baseball, you can play till 40s maybe. It depends how good you are. You don't have to worry about life-threatening injuries unless you tear your ACL or something, but that's not life. Football, you got to worry about concussions and CTs and everything. And he's a small guy, so he can miss a lot of guys. But he's a small guy. He can get killed by a lot of guys. I'm excited to see him. He was one of the most explosive players in college football last year. But if I were in his position, I would have stuck with baseball. And the A's, he wanted $15 million from the A's, and the MLB was going to allow that rule to pass.
That is crazy.
$15 million just to stick to baseball. So,
And the A's drafted him 9th overall.
And he's getting $8 million guaranteed already.
Yeah, that's something. Kyler Murray, I think he can be a top 10 pick. I do see a lot of potential in him.
Well, in my mind, with the undeath of a draft this year, there's a good market for him in there.
Exactly. This is not a great year for quarterbacks.
If it was last year, then I don't know. But this year, it's him, Dwayne Haskins, and Will Grier.
I forgot the quarterback's name from Oregon who's supposed to...
Herbert. He stayed.
Yeah, Herbert's staying.
Haskins could have stayed, but he didn't. Grier's a fifth-year senior.
Yes, this is true.
And Murray could have stayed, too. He was only a junior, but he already got drafted, so why even stay,
Yes, and moving on...
Coaching changes.
A lot of coaching changes in the NFL. It's that dreaded Monday after the season. After the regular season, I should say.
Yep, and I'll just start with the ones I know most of. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator from the Bears. Highly talented coordinator, is now the coach of the Denver Broncos. I want to congrats him. I'm proud of him. He's a great coach. I think he can do a great job. Denver has had a great defense. And your old coach, Chuck Pagano, is now the Chicago Bears defensive coordinator.
Congrats to him. He did deserve that.
I've thought about this, actually. What I thought about is he's been a head coach already. He's been a defensive coordinator with one of the best defenses. I think a lot of this was also to do with helping Nagy as being a head coach. Pagano's made the playoffs almost every year he's coached, right, for the Colts?
Yes. His tenure in Indianapolis,
I think...
I'm going to say this, towards the end, it got a little old.
He had the cancer and everything, so it kind of hurt him.
That is true. But the one thing that I couldn't stand about Chuck Pagano, it seemed like it was one or two things in big games with the Colts. They would show up and ball out, or they would get blown out. How many times did you see them get blown up by the Patriots?
My favorite signing is Cliff Kingsbury of the Arizona Cardinals. The most shocking coaching hiring of the whole offseason.
I don't know where I was saying, I forgot, but I almost fell out of my chair.
He was the USC offensive coordinator. He got fired or whatever from Texas Tech, became USC offensive coordinator. Here's the most interesting thing that makes me, laugh. He said in an interview the day he got hired, if I had the first pick, I would take Kyler Murray.
And look at that.
And who's the first pick of the NFL draft this year?
The Arizona Cardinals.
And if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I trade Rosen. Get him out.
Josh Rosen was the guy that I liked most coming out of the draft last year.
Bengals.
I know that opinion doesn't look too good right now.
Think about this. You re-sign Patrick Peterson, okay? Mm-hmm. You trade Rosen to the Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. He does not want to be there. Think about the deadly duo right there. Ramsey and Peterson, your secondaries. Unstoppable defense. Not unstoppable. A really good pass defense. Put in the most electric quarterback in the draft and sign Golden Tate.
I mean...
that's what I would do if I'm Arizona GM.
What you're saying isn't crazy on paper. Whether or not it'll actually happen...
They have a lot of money. Don't forget about David Johnson in the backfield. Don't forget.
He wasn't that too impressive this year.
Because that offense was like a disease. It was terrible.
I think Steve Wilkes was his name. He didn't even last the season.
Well, something else might change is Antonio Brown's future. Now, I don't think anything really heated up until yesterday. So Antonio Brown missed Week 17's game not because of injury, because of... Well,
he got into a confrontation with Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Almost everyone there, I should
Apparently,
say.
the report is he threw a football at Ben Roethlisberger.
So, Antonio Brown has been doing a lot of teasing with us lately. It started with George Kittle and the 49ers. He started following the 49ers. now. And Le'Veon Bell tweets at him and says, why not? Let's go to yesterday. Jerry Rice, arguably one of the greatest receivers ever, FaceTimes Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown says, and I quote, I would love to play with the 49ers. And who would love to play with Antonio Brown, Giovanni? Who would love to play with Antonio Brown?
Le'Veon Bell.
And who has the money to support both of them?
The 49ers.
Exactly. And you know who else is a contender for both of them? The Colts.
Yeah.
They have
Le'Veon and Antonio Brown.
They have $100 million. But who are the Colts going to give up for Antonio Brown?
Honestly, I don't want Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell on my team.
He seems like he's sucking the franchise. And I feel like it's Mike Tomlin's fault as well.
Well, I think Mike Tomlin, to me, he just does not have any control of this team. To me, that's the ultimate factor in them not making the playoffs. I don't think it was about them losing to the Saints.
No.
That's not what it was about. It was about losing to the Raiders, blowing a lead against the Chargers, and then blowing countless opportunities against the Broncos.
But he was always unhappy, never got the ball. Now, we're going to get to talk about baseball. This is the first time in a while. So Jeff Passan tweets, Machado was received 8 years and $250 million. That's wrong. He was offered 7 years, $250 million.
Who knows anymore, Jack?
Yes, we have been talking. Manny Machado has been a White Sox rumor since last year. They were rumored to trade for him. Now they can sign. I think Bryce Harper's not a thing anymore, really. I think it's all Manny Machado. Manny Machado, the Manny Machado family is almost playing for the White Sox right now. You got the brother-in-law Yonder Alonso, who's going to start. And you got his best friend in training, John Jay. I think
everything is lining up.
And who trains together? John Jay, Yonder Alonso, and Manny Machado. And Manny Machado's high school baseball coach said he's going to play with them. He says if he was going to say who Manny Machado play, he said the White Sox. And going off the free agents, the Phillies flew out to Vegas and met with Bryce Harper. They're seeming the favorites for Bryce Harper. But the Dodgers seemed a good favorite too, because when they traded Puig and Matt Kemp, I'm sure they were both, that gave them enough money for Harper. But if I'm going to predict, I think the White Sox will land Machado and the Phillies will land Harper, if we're being honest right now.
I think that's very realistic.
Just think of the offense of the White Sox, or the infield, if we're being... Moncada, Anderson. Many of you guys don't really know who Anderson is. Machado and Abreu. Abreu, who just got signed to a 1 year, $16 million, too. And you got Eloy Jimenez coming up. This team is on something. I'm telling you, this team is going to be something. They're building their bullpen. They signed Kelvin Herrera and Alex Colomé, who was an all-star closer.
Hawk Harrelson, I think, has said best. This team, in 2 years, maybe even a year, this team is going to be scary.
If they sign Machado and A.J. Pollock, he's a free agent too, center fielder, they can win a division. I'm being serious.
The AL Central isn't that good.
It's weak.
So that's not.
The Tigers are nothing. The Royals are nothing. The Indians only have pitching and Jose Ramirez. I'm just saying. So we're going to go to fact or fiction, and these are actually the most interesting ones we've probably heard in a while. If Breeze wins and Mahomes loses, so we're going this week, say Breeze wins or Mahomes loses, or the Super Bowl, Breeze will win MVP over Mahomes.
No. Because MVP is a regular season award.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Breeze has had one heck of a year, but I think Mahomes deserves a lot more. Someone will sign Bryce Harper and Machado before February.
God, I hope so.
We said this in December.
Can this be over already? I just want to know.
We said December 10th. Oh, they're going to sign this week. No.
we were almost guaranteed. We were like, you know what? We're going to be able to talk about when we come back. It's, what's the date today? January 15th.
22nd. Hopefully. Jason Garrett will be fired.
No. Jason Garrett was on record yesterday saying he's not going to fire any of his coordinators. I don't think he's on the hot seat.
Okay. It's not going to happen, but I think he should. Stephen A. Smith said it the best. He has the best job security in the NFL with Jerry Jones. He does. Because Jerry Jones loves Jason Garrett. We don't know why. I don't know why.
It's the same reason the Bengals love Marvin Lewis.
Jesus.
Loved him for a while.
I think he should be fired, but he won't. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown will end up on the same team, but not the Steelers.
I don't think they're going to end up on the same team, if I'm being honest. There's no way. Le'Veon Bell goes back to the Steelers.
We're seeing it in the NBA. We're going to see it in the NFL. I don't think they keep Antonio Brown. It's an ugly situation.
No, what?
I think
Why?
the three teams I think that are going to do it will be the Colts, Jets, and 49ers.
You know what? I agree with that. Trevor Lawrence is the best thing in college since Tim Tebow.
Now, you were a little shocked about this, and we're talking about just college. Yes. Tim Tebow was an absolute stud in college football. We're talking about college, not the pros, college. He was a 2-time national champ, an All-American, a Heisman. And now look at Trevor Lawrence, freshman. He already has a national championship. I'm sure he's going to win the Heisman next year. I'll put money on that. I'm thinking this is the best thing since Tim Tebow.
You know what? Best in college? I think he might be I think in 2 years, if he decides to leave after his junior year,
I think he will.
He might be the most highly touted quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck or John Elway.
Or Vince Young.
That's true.
A lot of people sleep on Vince Young in college.
Now, listen to this closely, folks. Nick Foles could be a top 7 paid quarterback, not just
paid money-wise. Yes.
Kirk Cousins is.
I'll say fact, and here's why.
Teams are willing to overpay for a quarterback.
You look at the draft class this year, and I only know 3 quarterbacks are really worthy of getting picked. Murray, and you never know with Murray because he's got baseball. Haskins and Greer. That's my point. Look at the guys I just named. If I'm the Giants, Jaguars, whoever you are, maybe the Redskins because Smith might be out for the whole year again. You got to pay for what you want, and Nick Foles is what you want.
This is true. And now going on to the NBA.
I'm psyched about the NBA now.
A lot has changed.
LeBron James hurt his groin, really severe, I guess, on Christmas against the Warriors. And the Lakers have just been the old Lakers. 3-7, just lost to the Cavs at home. That was the Cavs' first win since our last podcast, December 18th.
And I just need to say this. I thought that this would be the time that when LeBron got hurt, that all these young players were going to develop and come into their own. I didn't think they were going to win many games, but losing to the Cavs at home?
Yeah.
Kuzma, pathetic.
I'll tell you one thing good about the Lakers. Kuzma's really showing he is a top player.
He is.
Lonzo's showing strides. Brandon Ingram, I don't know what's up with Brandon Ingram, but Kuzma is just going off. And this is my favorite thing about the NBA right now. Luka Doncic is a sensation in the NBA. Oh my gosh. This dude is awesome. His step back threes, his plays. This dude is amazing. He is second overall in the West voting for the All-Star game. He is sure going to win Rookie of the Year. He might be on like the All-NBA second or third team. This guy is unreal, Giovanni.
I don't know. I think Ben Simmons might be in that category.
I'm being honest. This dude, have you seen his highlights?
I have not watched him play. I don't think Mavericks games are on TV that often.
No, they're not. But this dude can ball. He was playing against the Warriors the other day. He got 30-something points. I'm telling you, this guy is the next James Harden.
That's kind of bold, but I can definitely see it in him. And speaking of
the Bulls,
let's talk about our own team.
First in the number 1 lottery pick odds after losing. I don't even know who they've lost so many.
Jack, can you imagine if they drafted Zion Williamson, number 1?
Talking about Zion, Duke lost yesterday. So did our producer, Michael Pucci's IU Hoosiers. They also lost to Nebraska in Bloomington. But yeah, it's weird to think, the last time they had a number 1 pick, it went good for like 3 or 4 years and then down. But if I were them, I don't think Zion is – obviously they're going to take Zion because that's the market player. So yeah. Brandon Ingram reported by an NBA analyst, Brandon Ingram could be traded for an All-Star by the trade deadline.
Well, are they really going to get much out of Brandon Ingram?
That's my thing. He's young.
That is one bet. I
call him the next Kevin Durant. He's slim. He's skinny. He's lengthy. He can
That's
shoot.
Starting to seem a little bit ridiculous.
Yes, but an All-Star. I don't know what kind of All-Star you're going for. Is it a Paul George, a Kawhi Leonard? No, that's not. Is it Klay Thompson? No. Even though he's on his final year. Nuggets, hear me out straight. Nuggets are the best home team in the NBA.
That is a fact.
And are number 1 in the West. Well, I just want to state some facts about them first. They're missing 4 key players. Michael Porter Jr., who they drafted, Isaiah Thomas, Will Barton, and Paul Millsap.
That's wow.
And their center, I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm sorry for you fans.
Jokic.
Nikola Jokic, the Joker, he is unreal too. He is averaging this month like 30 points, 15 rebounds, and like 8 assists. What is up with the Nuggets, John? The Nuggets.
I mean, who thought they were going to be this good? I thought at first when I saw this team doing well, I'm like, oh, it's just. I thought of them.
And last year they missed the playoffs in the last game.
The Timberwolves made over them last year. And the
Timberwolves
now
fired fired Tom Thibodeau. And did you hear who might be their replacement? Fred Hoiberg. Like,
why is that so funny?
How bold can you get if you're the Timberwolves? Derrick Rose,
they need
Taj Gibson, also in the All-Star voting. Derrick Rose, number 2 in the guards or front court, whatever it's called.
D. Rose.
He deserves it. He's had one heck of a year. I'm proud of him. You know, he could have quit. You know how life rough was for him?
Yeah.
He could have quit.
He's an incredible story. Any basketball fan should.
He's 29.
That's true.
Something like that.
Any basketball fan should be.
Bulls should re-sign him.
No.
You know how good of a market that'd be for the Bulls if they re-signed him? You know how many jerseys they'd sell, how many home games they'd sell out for him?
Yeah, they certainly need that because right now, saying that this team is awful is an understatement.
Double J list. We're going to go with our top 5 expectations for this 2019 year. And there's a lot of time, so Jahani, you don't need to go in order. Just give us 5 expectations in this year.
I think the NBA playoffs this year are going to have more parity than ever. It might because the past 3 years, let's be real. I think everyone knew it's probably going to be the Warriors in the finals against LeBron James and whatever team he's on. Last year, they gave us a scare. But to me, there was really no parity, and there was some decent series. But I think this year, especially in the West, there's potential for some great series.
Oh, yeah. That West is stacked this year.
And another expectation, something that happened over the break, I expect Christian Pulisic to shine at Chelsea. If you didn't hear, Christian Pulisic signed for a record $74 million, if I remember. Something like that. It's a very big number for an American player.
You've been holding on to that one for a while.
Yes, and he will finish the rest of the season at Borussia Dortmund, but I expect him to really break out this year.
That's 2 only.
That's
3 more.
Yeah, so I'm aware. I had to put a lot of thought into this. I expect Zion Williamson to go number 1.
That's fair.
I really...
Do you expect Duke to win a national championship?
No, I don't. Oh. I don't expect Duke to win. That's not on my list.
Okay.
I expect the Colts to be one of the best teams in the AFC.
AFC, okay.
In the AFC. I think that this could be the year. Luck is now entering the best part of his prime. I think the pieces are in place for the Colts to be contenders for the rest of Luck's prime. I think that Chris Ballard is one of, if not the best young GM in the sport. I know Jack's going to say Ryan Pace.
Which he is.
Ryan Pace?
Yes. Look at the records.
Look at Chris Ballard's draft class.
Look at Ryan Pace's.
I'm just saying he drafted 2 All-Pros with his first 2 draft picks this year.
Kyle Fuller, All-Pro.
Quentin Nelson.
Eddie Jackson. I can keep going because the Colts don't have any really rookies or anything. Bears do.
Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard.
Roquan Smith, Leonard Floyd, Eddie Jackson, Adrian Amos,
Leonard
Bio
Floyd
Nichols,
is a rookie?
Akeem Hicks. I'm going just young talent in general right now. Akeem Hicks, Leonard Floyd, Mitch Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, Anthony Miller. We can keep going.
And
we can keep going if you want.
We can have this debate after. I don't really know what my last one is. I'd have to think about that. Jack,
you have 5. You have one more. Just say one more thing.
I'm gonna go bold for this one. I think the Saints win the Super Bowl.
I don't think that's bold, but it's something. Okay, number 5. Cody Parkey's cut. Yesterday, the Bears, Nagy and Pace had their end of the year press conference, and they asked him about it. Pace started it by kind of sounding mellow. He said, you don't always have a hit in your signings. Nagy, I mean, he was mad. He said, we're a we thing, and that was just a you thing. And he's mad.
And that's shocking because this Bears team, I mean, you saw after he missed the kick.
Mad.
So many of the players went up to him, giving him a hug.
Yeah.
And to me, this must have felt like a real slap in the face to them.
Number 4.
I mean, what are you doing going on TV?
Yeah.
Not even a week afterwards.
That was
if
terrible.
I'm Cody Parkey, just stay
terrible.
off.
Number 4. Baker Mayfield throws 40 touchdown passes next year. I love Baker. I think he's Rookie of the Year as well. Let's see. We'll go number 3. Number 3. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of something that could actually happen. Okay. That's I don't want to. That's rude for me to say. I was gonna say this. Le'Veon Bell tears his ACL. I just think so after not playing for a year.
To be clear, I don't think Jack is wishing this happens.
I don't wish it. I just think so. I just think he hasn't played for a year, and he's gonna struggle. He's done it. He's already done it to himself. I think he's gonna do it again. Number 2. This is a shocker to you. I want you to calm down. The Nuggets make the finals. If they keep playing like they do now, they have home field or home court advantage for the rest of the playoffs. Am I right? They're the best team. I'm just saying, man. Once they get all these players back, they're going to be something. It's something. It's bold. It's bold.
No, it's not happening.
Okay, and when that does happen, I'll go back to that clip.
You can't. I will give you full permission.
Number 1. Should I say Tim Tebow makes the MLB? Well, that's not my thing, but congrats to Tim Tebow marrying Miss Universe. Good credit to him. Tim Tebow trying to make a living out of baseball. Okay, be honest right now. White Sox win their division.
Oh.
I expect that. If they sign Machado, or if they don't, maybe not. If they sign Machado, Rick Hahn is the man at this time.
Oh, Rick Hahn.
He is the man.
They better build a statue of him outside of Guaranteed Rate Field. I don't like saying that.
Did you see the new Hawaiian jerseys? Our Hawaiian shirts are getting out.
I love it.
Those are nice. Well, thank you all for tuning into the Double J Podcast. We'll be back next Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at LCTV News. We're on Spotify. We have a Twitter, Double J Podcast. Thanks, everybody. Tune in.